Welcome, everybody, to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast. And I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. And as you know, we talk about 4 different types of freedom: time, financial, location, and health freedom. And today we have a mindset coach, and his name is Koen from Belgium. And he's going to talk about how developing a framework for everyone to manage the roller coaster of emotions. So with the amount of uncertainty going on, the amount of volatility, I think this is a perfect segue into this type of discussion. So Koen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Christopher.
Yeah, I know you're originally a mathematician, MBA, now you're in corporate and small startups, and now you're a mindset coach. So tell us more about your background, your upbringing, and what you do now.
Yeah, as you said, I'm a mathematician. I had a fairly easy life in the sense that everything was going well. I had some executive functions, did some startups, and that kind of things, mostly in the corporate world. And then in 2014, I had a business that I started up myself, and I had to let it go in the sense that, yeah, it would go broke because that was the thing. And suddenly I did get shocked by the fact that why I really thought that I was entitled to success, and suddenly there was no success. And so that triggered me very much. And there my journey, which eventually lead to being a mindset coach or mindset trainer, was my journey in search of what is success and how is success built, and how can you build success for yourself, what's necessary for that. So yeah, that's more or less my background.
Okay, well, that's quite interesting. Because mindset is everything, and we all need a framework to manage our roller coaster of emotions. There's so much stimuli and so much anxiety provoking fear stimuli, and so we have to be cognizant on how we respond and react and manage our triggers. So tell us your framework for managing the roller coaster of emotions.
Well, for me, it was a journey, as I said, but what I did found was this: there are 4 elements that are very important if you want to manage or have a management system for your emotions. And the first one is energy. If you are tired, if you are sick, that emotionally you are another person. So if you don't manage your energy, it influences directly your emotions. The second one is confidence. How to build confidence, or what is confidence? Well, confidence is the belief that you can figure things out, but that's an easy one, but it's contextual. It's new in every new situation. How do you build that up? Because that really changes your emotional state. The third one is a little bit more complex in the sense, I always call it flow, but most people will think about it as productivity. What most people don't understand is that most things that would help you to gain productivity, like time management techniques and those kind of things, they always appeal on what is called your conscious mind, your neocortex. But your neocortex is very weak. It is very smart, but it doesn't have a lot of energy. And so you have to get into flow. Flow lives in your unconscious mind. And the only way you can do that is by eliminating all the stressors, especially the small stressors that are in your life. And then the fourth element is influence. We are social creatures, so we need to have support. We need to have support of the people around us, but also support of maybe investors, our employees, or our contractors and our clients. How do you do that? And how is support, or how is influence, if you want, wired in the brain? Now, these are the 4 building blocks, but in every management system, you need some kind of awareness. Well, some kind of measurement, and measurement in the emotional world is awareness. It's nothing more than that. And then you need also a monitoring system, and the monitoring system in the emotional world is what we call self-reflection in some form. And those four components with the two encompassing parts in it form the framework that we teach people.
That's quite interesting. Yeah, so that's so energy, and then you have confidence, flow, influence. So that's, and then the other thing is when you say why we don't achieve our goals, what, I know you delve into that more with your clients, but tell us more as to why we don't. Is it self-sabotage, procrastination? Go ahead.
Well, but in more general, it are your own beliefs, because the thing is this: you get what you believe. Sometimes I call it the law of attraction. I don't like really that word because that sounds a little bit magical. But the effect of the framework we teach you is that you change your emotions. And if you change your emotions, it's always changing your beliefs also. And if you change your beliefs, you will get another outcome. And that's the most important thing. But what's also important here is you cannot change your beliefs on the spot. That's not possible, because we are formed by our background, by our childhood. And in a sense, and I know most people don't like this, but in a sense, our unconscious mind, it's not very smart, but it's very powerful. And it can be powerful because of one reason. It's just a collection of programmed routines. That's why it is powerful, because it doesn't have to think a lot. That's what your neocortex does. But how do you reprogram it if the program is not adapted anymore to what you want to achieve? And so that's what we try to do with people. How do you reprogram yourself, and mostly your beliefs, because then you are going to react in another way, and then you're going to attract other results.
Yeah.
So it's a bit conceptual, but I hope it's understandable.
Yeah. The other thing is, the question is, this is one interesting is, what is success in the brain? That's quite interesting how you frame that, and I wanted to expand upon that more.
Well, it's simple. Success in the brain is nothing more than a feeling, like all the other feelings that are in your brain. It's just a feeling, and everybody knows that feeling. You come out of a meeting, you prepared it well, you did a wonderful execution of what you prepared, and your performance was very well, and the reaction of people is very positive. You did get the results you want, and now you feel as on top of the world. That's mostly what people say. I feel on top of the world. And you go out there, you get a phone call of your partner, they have bad news, and suddenly all that feeling of success is gone. Suddenly you think the world is only black and dark, and that proves, in my view, that success is just a feeling. And most feelings only last for 90 seconds. Without a new trigger, outside trigger, it only lasts for 90 seconds. So the question is, if you want to have a lot of success, what is your form of success? What is your feeling of success you need? And then I don't know if you want to go in detail. We developed a sort of framework, which we call the 5 factors of success, which are the factors that really help you to get this feeling of success.
Yeah. I was reading a recent book by Brian Tracy, where he talks about what you're talking about in this recreating this feeling and absolute certainty and belief, regardless of your positive expectations theory is what he called it, which was quite interesting. And you can sort of learn to manufacture that and to sort of program yourself to always think of the best. So, but I know you had the 5 factors of success, so you tell us more about that.
Well, it's a framework I created myself, because people need some kind of framework that they can rely on if they are working on themselves. And the first one is very simple. It's feel good. Nobody who feels good, and it's really physically feel good. Nobody who feels good can have a feeling of success. And it depends a little bit on what your situation is, but you can teach yourself to feel yourself good. It's mostly about energy and confidence, but you can teach yourself to feel good every day. The second one is what we call freedom. Do you have a sense of freedom? Most people in this case think about financial freedom, but financial freedom is only one form of freedom. The most, let's say conceptually, the most advanced form of freedom is when you can what you show off on the outside, or show on the outside, is that congruent with your inside? That is the most excellent form of freedom. You just can be yourself. That's what I'm saying in difficult words. Then the third one is what we call family. Now, family, we use that word a little bit more conceptually. It's, do you have somewhere belonging? It doesn't have to be your family in the normal sense of the word, but do you have some kind of belonging, some place where you call it a home? And then the fourth one is friends. Friends is also more in a conceptual way. Is there a place where you are important, where you feel yourself important? Is there an environment with people around you that you feel that they think you are important for them? And then the last one is footprint, because I all wanted them to be an F for the factors of success, but footprint is mostly impact. What is the meaning? What is my impact? What is my footprint in this world? And what I noticed in using this framework, this small framework with the students that I train, is that it helps them really to think about what do they want. And you will notice there is nothing material in what I just told you.
Yeah. These are all really great tips, and which is, I like how you break things down and, you know, kind of make everything into a algorithm, so you can learn about creating a winning mindset, understanding motivation, and all of that. So another question is, you know, everybody's trying these days talking about healing and aligning their energy, and, you know, healing from emotional trauma. You seem to have a interesting opinion about healing from trauma. Do we need to heal from every trauma, or is it just certain ones?
Well, there are two aspects here. First of all, my opinion, and everybody can disagree with me, but my opinion is that we medicalize a lot of things, or we put things very easy in, oh, that's or a mental disease, or that's a trauma, and you have to treat it with very good practices, but maybe a little bit overshooting, as we do more or less also with our physical diseases. So I don't, if I really see a trauma, I never go into the coaching, because I'm not a psychiatrist. I cannot do that. But sometimes, and this has happened to me a few times already, people come with me and they say, I have this trauma for several years now, but I still want to have the coaching. And then what I do is I say, look, as a disclaimer, I have to do that. I'm not a trauma specialist. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So I cannot treat you in that sense, but just follow our program and let's see what happens. And until now, and I know that it's a small number, but until now, all those people that just followed the program saw their trauma decrease until almost there was no trauma anymore. And that strengthened my belief that our mind and our body is nothing else than a big healing machine. If you let it heal, if you do the right process, if you do the right things on level of energy, confidence, and that kind of things, your body and your mind will go into a sort of healing process. It doesn't work always. I'm very sure that there are real big traumas or real traumas, I would say, that probably won't, this program won't help. But I find it astonishing from seeing that I had some students that just could cope with their trauma by following the process of the program, and they were in treatment for several years already.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I know there's so many questions we can talk about. We're approaching the almost the end. The one thing for the audience, what I'm wondering is, what do successful people do differently, or how do they think differently?
Well, the most important thing for me is just one word, that's intentionality. They are very intentional about themselves. They don't live what I always call the automatic life. They choose their experiences. They choose how they appear in life. They choose a lot of things. And a lot of things are decisions, but it's not so easy to escape the automatic life. You need somebody mostly to help you to understand how you can choose things, what you need to do for that. But what I see, once you can do that, they become intentional. And if you, a very simple example, the CEO of Facebook, if you like him or you don't like him, that's not the point. But he chooses not to choose because he has the same outfit every day. So he chooses not to choose, which is a lot of savings in his mind, because one of the biggest consumers of energy are decisions. And if you go intentionally with that, well, probably you will change your beliefs, you will change your behavior, you will change the automatic routines, and you will steer them in a way that it brings you to success. I hope it's understandable what I said, but that's what I really think it is.
Yeah, it's interesting. Most of the very successful people I've interviewed, they state that this, one is clarity, which we talk about, which we'll get to in the next question, but also that intentional. They're very selective who they hang out with, what they turn off the TV, social media. They cut out all of that, the unnecessary, and they're very intentional. So the other thing is, how can we get clarity in what we want in our life or business?
Well, first of all, you need to know what you want to feel, because it always starts with feelings. we talked about the 5 factors of success, or another framework you can use for that. But that's the first thing. And then if you know what you want to feel, for example, if you want to have a big impact in some way, you can start building up from there. What are the things that you need to do or to achieve to get that impact? But it depends on what you want to do. Now, one of the most important things is business, in my view, is made to have an impact. It's not made to become rich. And that's where a lot of people are confused. And probably this will get some reactions. But a business or a company, even legally, is made to have an impact on society. It's not just made to become rich. And I think that's one of the most important things here. If you want to have a business, well, it's made to have an impact. What's the impact that you want? And that's where I would start.
Yeah, what a fantastic way to close out the show. I really enjoyed this talk and your approach to mindset. And a lot of people want to reach out to you, follow you. So how can they do that?
Well, they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's just search for Koen Knaepen. There are not a lot of Koen Knapens at LinkedIn, or you can go to my website, DIYgrowthstrategies.com. You can spell it in one word, and then you will see my website.
Yeah, and for all the listeners out there, Koen's resources will be in the links and show notes, especially his website. So thanks so much for coming on to the podcast, and we look forward to hearing about your future success.
Thank you for having me.